We are live.
Oh, yes, we are, baby. It's Friday Night Lights. We got a youth football playoff game tomorrow. This is my favorite day of the week because we get to see people running into each other violently trying to win a game that makes no sense why it's called football.
Yeah, because they use their heads.
That's why I love America.
How did that happen?
Here's what happened. No, I know exactly how that happened. So what happened is in 1776, we beat the British and we just destroyed them, kicked them out. Just get out of here, right? So then what happened later on down the road, like the early 1900s, we're like, you know what? We're going to come up with a game where you throw a ball or you run a ball, use your foot very sparingly. But since we destroyed the British, we're just going to steal the name of their most popular sport.
Yeah, that's not petty.
Oh, and just to add insult to injury, we're going to call that game here something that nobody knows what it means, soccer. Soccer, what does soccer even mean? How'd they even come up with that word? Because your sock is under your shoe and you're kicking it. Makes sense. So you went from football to soccer. That's just America. That's just like the metric system, bro. It's just like the metric system. America is like F you. F your metric system and F your football. We're stealing that. We're calling it a name that doesn't make any sense. And we're still going to use the empirical system, which is far inferior to the metric system.
Yeah. I mean, and when you look at it that way, it's same thing for temperature too, Celsius to Fahrenheit. Yes. Very strange. It's one of the things that I think it's like an overcomplication by America just to keep everybody stupid because people are just like, fuck it.
No. What it is, we will sacrifice common sense just to give a big middle finger to the British kingdom. That is what America does. That's what we do best. We are willing to sacrifice thought to be the leaders, to be unique.
I would argue that we prove that over and over and over again. Like the critical think, whenever critical thinking rears its ugly head in American culture, the mainstream media and the left just try to fucking smash it. It seems like, it's wild, bro.
Well, I mean, I think we were all in agreement. After the I think it was the 70s or the 80s when they put through Title IX, right? Hey, women should have their own sports teams, right? Everybody, even the Republicans were like, that makes good sense. That's very common sense. Women are different than men. And the liberals are like, yeah, dude, women are women. We need to protect women. And the Republicans are like, makes sense. And then fast forward to 2020, the Democrats are like, you know what? Men are women. And then the Republicans are like, wait. Well, hold on. When did that happen? They're like, no, this is a new thing. Men are women. I'm like, well, I thought we were all in agreement that women are women and men are men. But, and that's where they lost me.
Oh, they had lost me a little bit, a little before then. That was just topping on the cake where it's like, oh shit. So, so we don't even know what a woman is anymore. Well, we know what a man is, but we don't know what a woman is. A man is a toxic person, right?
But yet the liberal white women in all their glory are voting for the Democrats, to protect women's rights.
It does take extra level of stupid. I'm just telling you, ladies. It takes
mental gymnastics for women to vote Democrat. It's so what women's rights? They're putting men in women's sports, right? Yeah. So the only women's rights you're voting for is a federal, not a state level, which is where it should be, federal law guaranteeing your right to kill your baby.
It's wild that I saw a post by Kamala. Was Trump's abortion bans and Trump's Project 2025. First of all, they wouldn't be Trump's because they would be the states that the ban would be in, right? And then obviously he's rejected the 2025 thing because
2025 rejected him. The guys who wrote it are like, nah, we're not. We don't like that guy. It doesn't make sense. But they're still Trump's Project 2025. That is literally saying Mark Loebeiner's Mein Kampf. I didn't write it. I didn't write Mein Kampf. Okay. I did get in a battle with Jewish people today, and they're fat losers. And I would just like to say, I would like to admit when I'm wrong. Jake Shields was right.
Damn.
Shout out to Jake Shields, a man that can single-handedly kick my ass up and down the fucking street.
You probably kick both of our asses together. So
at the same time with weapons.
Yeah. With us having the weapons. Yeah.
We could have any weapon. Yeah. Like anything but a gun, right? Like we could have a knife, a nunchuck, whatever that shit that Donatello used on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the mace thing.
Yeah. Well, we could have any weapon. We could have a fucking spear. We could have fucking anything. Jake Shields would kick our ass. I just want to say that for the record.
That's why I carry.
I was actually I was actually at an event with this girl once who knew Jake. She's like, you don't think you could take Jake in a fight? I looked at her and I'm like, I am literally a low-level amateur boxer.
Yeah.
Jake is one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time.
Yeah.
You're bigger than him. I'm like, not that much. If he was 90 pounds, okay, maybe physics play a role. Yeah. Jake's a big guy. Like I stood next to Jake. He's a solid 180, like a solid fucking jacked 180. Like you do not want to fuck with Jake Shields. So notice he challenged any transgender person. No one would fight him.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of people who like have never ever been like either in a boxing ring or done judo or BJJ or even wrestling, they'll say stuff like that and they don't realize, like, you know, especially like BJJ is a whole other realm because like it almost convinces you that you're beating somebody. Like if you're able to get get a shooting takedown, right? Like for wrestling, and they're on their back, if they're on their back, they're very dangerous. Like on their back,
dude,
like
that bottom guard is crazy. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah,
till recently because a lot of our wrestlers also do BJJ.
Smart, very smart. And actually, BJJ or judo are both amazing.
Well, like Mike Israetel, he's a black belt in BJJ. So people talk shit to him. Like, you realize you realize if he falls down and you get on top of him, he's gonna twist you into a fucking pretzel.
Yeah. That is terrifying. Just, like I mean,
because Mike is a big, strong dude. Like Mike grabs you, you're not getting out.
That he doesn't seem super emotionally regulated lately, but
he's not. Look, man, I've hung out with him. He's a very calm, rational guy. I hung out with him when he was on prep, so he was on all the drugs, and he was good. I mean, Mike's a good guy. I mean,
I'm sure he is.
When you take clips of people saying, if I saw him, I would, it's social media, dude. Like, not everybody's like us where they're the same.
Yeah.
Like, Mike's not that guy. Like, Mike also is a fucking genius. Mike, that he is too rich and comfortable to go to jail.
Smart man.
That's why I don't get man. Fights. No, someone attacks you, you're going to call the cops. I'm like, yes, I am not about that life. There was one point in my life when I was poor and I was young that I would throw down with anybody for any reason, never call the cops.
Right.
Now, put this in perspective. I know we're off topic, but if you're a regular viewer, you understand.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Let's say I get in a fight. Someone hits me.
Yeah.
Wow. I hit them. They fall. They hit their head. They die. I'm going to jail. And I'm being sued by their relatives. Even if they started it, so I'm not going to fight. Someone punched me in the face, I'm probably just going to be like, you're getting sued. Mm-hmm. That's about it. It depends.
You know, it definitely depends. Like if somebody punches me and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like if it's like, you know.
I would try my best to defend and restrain and then call the cops. But if someone does something that warrants me going to jail, I feel... If
I think I'm actually in trouble, like danger, if it's just a punch, dude, I'm ugly already. I don't give a fuck. Right?
My nose has been broken, dude.
Yeah, like mine's fused bone, man. Like I mean, it's been broken punches at times, right? Yeah. So I'm ugly already. I don't give a shit. Like I'm not going to go to jail because you punched me in the eye when I was already. But
my nose is half Jewish, half boxing.
Right. if I think you're like you're coming for me, like I need to really defend myself, that's when you go all out. You know what I mean? Like that's when you defend yourself. You know,
or like we
if
talked about,
if somebody's fucking with my wife or something like that, I'm gonna fucking it's
bingo.
over.
So what we talked about on Monday is understanding the consequences and accepting them, knowing that if you do attack with intent to harm, like someone harms your family, that you are fully aware that there's a good chance you're going to be behind bars for a little bit. And that's something we need to, we need to actually have, we have to be aware of, we have to be cognitive of that.
Absolutely.
But, it is what it is. You just got to you got to control your emotions over intellect, intellect over emotions.
Speaking of controlling your emotions,
which I do all the time.
You do all the time. But speaking of controlling your emotions, who's actually ruining America?
Fat people.
Look at this shit. I bet you I know who they voted for.
Oh God, there's the fat liberal white woman vote is going 99.7% to Kamala.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much going on in this picture. And by the way, to the young lady in the "No Justice, No Peace" shirt, how you doing? Bet you didn't think today was going to turn out this way. But
where did this picture come from?
She basically dogged at you something about steroids and making.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, she is a fucking whale.
Yes. So she basically
she didn't look that fat in her profile. So that profile pic was the best.
Yeah.
Like that's the best she has.
So
I got to bring up the profile pic when you're done with that one.
So these folks who are obviously on their way to a buffet.
What's up with the purple hair in the back?
It says, ah! But
with the black power fist, bitch, you're white with purple hair.
So this young lady told Mark that he does steroids and she's sorry about his life choices. Like, okay, let's just get a few things straight. If you are morbidly obese, you make bad life choices every day. I know this because I was once morbidly obese and I was making bad fucking life choices every fucking day, right? But also, the awareness is amazing because if you were so because I don't know how old this picture is, I'm just going to be honest, but if you were so terrified of the vid that you wore one of these stupid ass fucking face diapers, and 4 years later you're still fat as fuck, you were just virtue signaling. You never believed it was that dangerous at all. The number one comorbidity for any upper respiratory virus besides age is fatness. So
and any pretty much any disease now,
cancer,
whatever you name it, other than maybe AIDS, I think.
Yeah. So well, and that's life choices. But we have reached a point where this woman feels perfectly, and I mean literally perfectly, like enabled to judge your life choices because you're a 43-year-old man with a resting heart rate in your mid fucking 40s.
I don't understand. You have an exceptional ultra fit man, and that's what I am. All of my markers are perfect, from hormones to you name it. Cognitive test, I'll blow her out of the water. You don't want to know my fucking IQ score, bitch. So, but the thing is, fat people are stupid. And I'm not saying you're stupid in comparison to everybody else. You might be a genius fat person, right? Like Trump, he's pretty fat, pretty smart, but you would be smarter. And this is scientifically proven. I'm done pulling up studies for these idiots because the studies are pretty clear. Being obese, eating ultra processed foods, which you don't get that big eating chicken and rice.
Nope.
Eating ultra processed foods makes you dumb. Being fat makes you dumb. But why would it do that? Well, blood flow is number one, right?
Yeah.
If your body is not delivering oxygen to your brain, you're in a constant state of inflammation and oxygen deprivation. You're going to be dumb. You're going to be fat. You're going to be slow. She gets out of bed every morning and she gets up. Her joints are aching. She has nothing going for her. Her body looks like shit. She can't think straight. So she thinks it's a good idea to go after a guy who literally trains his ass off every day, eats perfectly. And by the way, I guarantee you this. Any, relatively speaking, quality of life, service to community, I'm better than her.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I'll guarantee it. I'll guarantee it. So the internet is the only place you, as a loser, can talk down to a winner with an equal platform.
Absolutely. I mean, what's wild is like I hear that argument all the time. Like, well, you're not better than anybody because you work out. Yeah, fuck, I am. the fuck I am.
That was so good.
I certainly am.
That. We got to clip that shit. That was so good.
I mean, because I put in more effort than you. Like, it's like, that's the thing. Like, people, it's the weird thing in America right now is nobody wants to admit that anybody is better than anybody else, but people try harder than other people. Therefore, they're fucking better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like, the best, say LeBron James, who, well, bad example because of the Diddy stuff. But anyway, say Michael Jordan, right? Say Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan, but just didn't try. And then, like, if he was still probably the most naturally gifted basketball player ever. Like, I mean, let's put it that way. Like, his jumping, his reaction time, the way his he stayed relatively injury free, which means his body was made to do the dynamic movements that he was doing, like biomechanically, right? But if he didn't didn't put the Michael Jordan effort in it, he wouldn't be Michael Jordan as we know him, right?
Can I bring up a current thing to prove this point?
Yeah, please. So
here is the best catch I've ever seen last night on the Jets game. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. So do you think this is the first time this man's ever caught a ball?
Right.
You know how many times he has practiced this catch one-handed in practice? Do you know how many reps he takes on the jugs machine before and after practice?
Right.
I guarantee you this guy is probably one of the hardest workers on the team. Let me have you seen this yet, Alan?
I have not.
Bro, I was watching with my son. Holy shit, watch this catch.
The only chance would be the knee if it came down. He has the ball. What a catch.
Wow.
He's literally in the Jordan. He looks like the Michael Jordan logo.
He does. No shit. Oh my God.
Look at this shit. Oh my God.
He has the ball.
Wild,
what
bro.
a catch.
And you have to get 2 contacts before you go out of bounds. Watch this. He gets his foot in and his shin.
Oh, he did. He got it.
Presence of mind is
to get down. The knee is close. That's what the crowd is reacting to.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Oh my God, that's amazing.
One-handed. Oh my gosh.
Look at this. One hand, boom.
Yeah,
Shin's
maybe
down.
the shin gets down.
Oh my God. How do you watch that and not marvel at what these guys do? Like, this is insane. So what I'm saying is greatness doesn't come from being lazy. This guy doesn't learn to play football by playing Madden. He learns to play football by playing football, by practicing catching, by lifting, by running. So yes, I am better than you fat fucks in so many ways. And I also read more. I learn more. I continue my education more. This fat bitch still thinks masks work.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. It's wild. Like, people come at like you all the time about the steroids thing and the bodybuilder thing. But like, people, you could seriously, people, you could blast all the steroids you want. If you don't have Mark's work ethic, you're not going to step on stage and do anything. Like, he's a pro bodybuilder. People can say whatever they want. I've seen what Mark goes through and what other these guys go through. And Mark, to your credit, you make it look relatively easier than what the fuck it is. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, I mean, I used to dog this man because the nickname of the machine. I'm like, okay, come on. But dude, then you hang out with him for a while. It's like, motherfucker, sit the fuck down for a little bit. You know, like, God damn, like, let's just take a breath, dude. You know, it's
work. Like, I mean, the greatest in the world work. You do how many? You're on air for like fucking 4 hours a day.
4 hours a day. I read for about an hour and a half a day, and I read very, very, very quickly. And I also work out by myself for about an hour a day. I teach a class for about a half hour a day. You know, it's like this thing. And then I do like exhaustive research on obesity, weight loss, nutrition, things of that nature, because that's what I do. And I want to be better than everybody else. Like, my one catchphrase was, for a while, was, you got to be so good that they can't ignore you. And that came from, like, I got into the whole fitness game late, like in my 40s, right? Like, so I'm like there's like all these 20-some-year-old kids with all these fucking like, 20-some-year-old six packs and shit like that. And
Yeah.
I'm like this fat, strong fuck who can tell some jokes. Right. So what I did, like after I met a few of you guys and I worked out with a few of you guys, I was like, okay, the difference between them and me is that they just work out a lot fucking harder than me. So I'm going to work out hard enough where they can't fucking ignore me. And I used to do this thing. Like, I'm going to make my idols into my peers. Like the people that I look up to in the fitness industry, they're all going to end up being my peers, period. Right. That woman's not trying hard to impress nobody. Like people like that are not trying hard to impress nobody. As a matter of fact, they're trying to suppress like their own common sense. Like this woman's clearly bought into the rhetoric of a cold, but won't lose weight to prevent herself from getting
she just wants to get shots and take pills. Yep. Okay, so people upset at me for taking shots,
right?
Literally think a shot is going to prevent a cold.
Yeah, it's wild.
And when in reality, simply eating better, you're still going to get colds. Like I lost my voice a little bit from a cold, but when I had that cold, it didn't. I was fine. Like I wasn't in bed eating chicken soup laced with butter like this bitch. Like I was still going on my day. I had a stuffy nose. I'm like, I'm fine. So the problem is laziness. Like they're mad at me for taking a shot when these people literally took an experimental shot. My testosterone prescription isn't experimental at all.
No.
And it's prescribed by a doctor.
And there's massive, like exhaustive studies showing the physical benefits for longevity, chronic illness avoidance, and just overall quality of life, yet alone the cognitive improvements and executive function improvements of the brain. One, from staying healthier, but two, just having a normalized testosterone level.
Well, I mean, they're going at RFK. RFK's 70 years old, doing fucking weird pull-up shit, fucking bench pressing on the beach without a shirt, in jeans. I mean, and his voice is weird, but his brain is so sharp.
Yeah, very, very, very.
So, and again, like, why are you going to hate someone over his voice? But check this out. So this is where it started. Yeah. So, Brian Cuban, who is Mark Cuban's brother, who turned out to be a big twat waffle. So basically, Alina Habba.
Extra benefit for the word twat waffle.
Backstory: Mark Cuban says to Mark Cuban says basically Trump surrounds himself with dumb women. Yeah. And by the way, if you look at her resume, Alina Habba, very accomplished attorney.
Yeah.
Very accomplished. Like I could pull up her wiki, but just trust me, I looked. So we're Jewish, there is no hell's what Brian Cuban says. And then this fat bitch says the very best part of being Jewish, just not a thing. And I said, so we can be complete assholes and lean on this? You're disgusting. That's how I feel. Look, man, if Jews say we could be bad people and say bad things, but it's okay because there is no hell, that's really not that. You're basically making Jake Shields look smart.
Yeah.
And Jake Shields, I agree with you. But I did also write Mein Kampf. So anyway.
Do you want to see something? Want to see something wild that I didn't know about real quick?
What's that?
Why the fuck does Brian Cuban? Why the fuck does Brian Cuban have me blocked?
That means I gotta be blocked. Hold on, I gotta look at this. Hold on, let me see.
What the fuck? People just like
see if I can find this.
Like it. I don't ever recall like interacting with. I didn't know who the fuck Brian Cuban was. I didn't know that Mark Cuban had any brothers.
I am not blocked.
How are you not blocked and I'm blocked? Like, what the fuck? That is weird. Weird, Brian.
Dude, it's because I'm Jewish, bro.
What did I say that fucking got your panties in a wad,
Brian? Well, if you ever want to go on Zoom and I could share you what he's doing that day, we can.
Yeah, that would work.
Share this profile. So, yeah, well, obviously I'm not blocked. I'm on his thread. It just popped up in my algorithm. I don't know, my feed. But what's really crazy, let me get back to that post, is so I like studies. I like science. So I'm like, hey, she put steroid caused brain damage. I'm so sorry about your life choices. So me, I like science. So I put, please cite data on this. I will cite mine. Also, I am and have been on prescribed TRT. Sorry, I'm in better shape than any man who would ever consider settling with you. And then I ended with something very nice, very charming. This debate is beyond what your small, retarded brain can handle.
Yes.
So
that was sweet of you, man.
I think my response was reasonable.
Totally reasonable. Totally reasonable.
Here's the deal, man. Like, instead of debating me on Jewish people doing that, it's automatic. Their automatic deflection is you're on steroids. That's when you know that they can't argue with your point.
Yeah.
That you have won. You have already won. Now, seeing that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, I can simply say, hey, I literally have a database of studies on my laptop right here, saved up on, hold on, this external hard drive.
Right.
So I'm just like, hey, here's a study saying you're retarded. Find me a study that shows otherwise. And then it's so absurd. Yeah.
Well, and I do like I do that also. I've got like I do the bookmark tabs. Like, so if I'm going to talk about it, if somebody's like on me about a topic, like we'll be talking about like systemic inflammation of like one of the reasons why obese people do not have as good of cognitive function, it's multifaceted. There's a thing called neuroinflammation. And neuroinflammation comes from being in a systemic long form of chronic low-grade inflammation that comes with being morbidly obese, and it goes through the brain-blood barrier and causes inflammation in the brain, like literally low-grade inflammation in the brain, which causes cognitive issues, blood flow issues, just like Mark said, stuff like that. But then there's also the, just like Mark said, the inflammatory nature of the foods that they eat to get to be walrus size, you know? So, but like when you take a look at it, like I'll just click on the bookmark and open all the tabs for all the studies I have labeled for inflammation. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not just obesity, the foods we eat, like even if you're not morbidly obese and you eat a predominance of ultra processed foods the way they are currently now, you're going to be inflamed. Like you're going to be puffy and inflamed and everything like that. Like we have people that just switch over to Whole Foods, and after 2 weeks, they've like literally just lost like 15 pounds of inflammation from themselves. Wow. Like everybody's like, oh, it's just the water weight. Like, nah, that's inflammation, motherfuckers. Like, yeah, I mean, you've already made yourself so much healthier. It's wild, right?
Isn't it? What is the term, like inflammation driven edema or some shit like that?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And that's super bad, like especially depending on the person, because depending on the person genetically, edema can collect in multiple different places. Like lower extremity edema can lead to very, very, very like that can lead to loss of toes, feet, like below the knee, stuff like that. Because the more it swells, the more it constricts the capillaries and the veins, right? But there's also, if you have obesity-driven inflammation, and it can be manifested in like your body cavity, especially if you have a large visceral fat deposit, that kind of chokes your heart out. That's congestive heart failure. And it also does a horrible, like it makes it harder to breathe because you have edema around your diaphragm, and therefore your lungs can't expand and stuff like that. Yeah. Like there's so much involved. Like, and it's all, what's wild to me is that like, dude, I can sit down with anybody and talk about the science behind obesity and I'm sorry, likely better than a doctor can at this point. Like, I'm just going to put that out there because I actually help people like reverse it and shit, you know, doctors just want to give you a fucking drug. But beyond that, it's like all of this is very public information that we've known a long goddamn time. But instead we have the mainstream media demonizing people like Mark and I for like, oh, you don't, working out can be dangerous. Like, are you out of your motherfucking minds, people? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, we should be in such insane physical condition. It should be crazy right now, especially after 2020, dude. Especially
speaking of crazy, you know what? I believe it was, but I don't know if it still is. You know what the highest cause of ACL tears is?
What's that?
Stepping off of curbs. It's one of the highest causes.
I can imagine.
So
especially women, right?
Well, women have that crazy Q angle. I don't know about the men versus women, but here's the deal. Like, everything in life poses risk. So with everything from walking, like, oh, going on walks are healthy. What if I fall? Don't fall. Like, watch where you're going. So like, ride a bike. What if I fall off the bike? Ride a stationary bike. There's always a solution.
Yeah.
So there's always a risk reward. The reward for weight training, longevity, like it literally makes, so they measure morbidity, right? And there's many ways to measure it. I like VO2 max. I like resting heart rate. Those are my top two. But you know what actually beat both of those in studies on determining morbidity risk? Grip strength.
Oh yeah. You know why?
It's
I
indicative
get that.
of total body strength.
Yeah, it's indicative of total body strength. And like a lot of people, like when people, I'm sure you see it a lot, like people just start deadlifting and stuff like that, and then they go too heavy and their grip lets go.
Yeah.
Like it's like they can't control it. That is actually your brain like realizing your back isn't strong enough and forcing your hands to open. I remember reading a couple. Yeah, I remember reading a couple studies about that when I first got into YouTube, because like I have like I had this thing where it's like I was clearly strong enough to deadlift higher than I was, but my grip strength just couldn't hang on. That's why that's one of the reasons why I started doing so many calisthenics drills too, like just hanging from a bar and stuff like that, because my grip strength was subpar for the strength of the rest of my body. Now it's probably reversed. My grip strength
I use
probably
straps. That's probably why my back's always sore. I'm
but dude,
fuck you, grip. You're not holding me back.
You're doing a supernatural, like a higher, like your lightweight is like what most men would max out weight at. And I mean, that's not that's just reality. Like, I mean,
yeah, well, it's all relative, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
my weight's nothing compared to Brian Shaw.
Yeah, but last year you were doing 900-pound belt squats. So like, there's a you think so, dude? That's very fucking heavy. Very, very. It's just this thing. Like, we have to get to the stage now where it's like, just as you and I have shown right now, we're literally at a stage where a morbidly obese woman, like a super morbidly obese woman, was telling you made poor life choices because you're what would be considered a peak physical athlete, right? It's like that mindset. If we want to make America healthy again, and RFK again, man, Mark and I would love to help with this, because while I think that they have the right idea when it comes to policy and organizations and stuff like that, the mind frame of America needs to shift. Like it absolutely does, because to a great degree, there's already going to be a huge portion of fat people that are going to argue against this, because it just does so happen that a lot of very fat people, especially fat women, vote left. I mean, there's studies done on it, you know? Yeah. And I just think that we need to, like, where you and I and like Ajax and a bunch of other people can help out with, is changing the mindset around just how people should view their own fitness, that it should be our personal responsibility, that, you know, if you are just a lazy fat fuck, you know, okay, but be ready to be called a lazy fat fuck, because that's what you are, you know, like, and if you can't take, like, it's weird. They don't want to be called on their like weakness, right? But they don't want to change their weakness.
Yeah. It's like, just be better.
Yeah. Try.
Just be better.
I do, like, and people know that I give it to fat people that don't try with both barrels. Like, if you watch any of my other content, if you're on here and you've even seen 2 minutes of me, you know that I am brass and harsh and I say things very directly. But you can also check out my content, and we do a portion of every live every day, and I do multiple lives every day, where people in the chat will tell me how much weight they've lost and everything like that. And I make sure that everybody else in the chat, I pull their comment up, I make sure everybody else in the chat congratulates them, and we encourage them to keep going, right? Like, if you are trying, people like Mark, myself, other people, like, open arms. I have never been to a gym where I've seen anybody make fun of a fat person. I've gone to gyms for 40 fucking years. Like 40 fucking years. I've never once seen it. That is and I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all, but I'm saying it is just the most minimal, small minority that is it possible. And it's normally probably done by some dude or some girl that's probably not in all that great a shape themselves, you know?
Well, they would be immediately shunned from the gym. So I'll tell you what, I've told this story 400 times. I was training with Mike Rashid and Big Rob. Big Rob did it over at Metroflex Long Beach. Yeah. Two fellow white supremacists. Yeah. And we were training, and I'll never forget this. There was this morbidly obese young lady, and she was pushing the sled. The trainer put a bunch of weight on there because it's fucking Metroflex. Yeah. And so she was about to give up. Like, she was falling down. Everybody in the gym, and you're talking about 20, 30 people, stopped what they're doing, made a circle around her, and cheered her on till she finished.
That's fucking amazing. That gave me
At a
goosebumps
place
thinking about it.
called fucking Metroflex.
Yeah. But that's been my experience with gym goers. And I just think that like, you know, people like us have been demonized for so long, the whole toxic masculinity shit and all like that. Like, we're going to like, we need to combat just like any other propaganda when it comes to chronic illness, disease, stuff like that. The culture around this is what you and I and other people need to help. Like, it needs to get to the point where we stop coddling this shit, but we also applaud people's effort. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. I refuse to coddle somebody that is 400 pounds and eating pizza every day and then says, "Don't call me fat. You're fat phobic." Fuck off. Fat phobia is the dumbest word ever created because first of all, it makes no sense. There is no irrational fear of being fat, and you cannot be irrationally afraid of a fat person. You cannot be irrationally afraid of a person that you could outrun walking backwards at a moderate pace. It's just, you fucking can't. And there's no irrational fear of being fat because it is objectively bad for you. It kills you. It kills you early. It causes pain.
Alan, I know this is kind of on topic, but the problem is people are soft. So here is a video of a high school football coach. Shit, I just lost screen share audio. Can I restart and come back?
Yeah, absolutely.
See you in a second.
So, like, basically what we're saying, like what I've been saying through this while he's coming back is that we just have to start viewing this for what it is. Like, there was an assault on fitness in the last decade or two that caused, here he is. Woohoo. But I was saying how we need to combat the assault on fitness, and you're about to show a clip. I watched this clip. This is quite amazing.
So this guy is a coach. His team's not playing. Look, for the record, I coach. Yeah. I curse. However, I am never negative. I am never negative. Right. It's not what I do. Right. I coach up. I don't coach down. But tell me if you see something wrong. So here's the problem. People are so afraid to be told they suck that they can do better. My style is way different. My style is more like, you are better than this team. Go play like it. Not my style, but I don't think this man deserved to lose his job.
We're getting fucked in the ass by a bunch of fucking kids.
That's one way to put it.
That's one way to put it.
I approve this message.
Yeah, I approve this message.
They want it more than we do. That's why they're fucking.
But the whole thing is they want it more than we do. That was his message. Mm-hmm. They want it more than we do. Look at the message, not the words.
Top 10 in the race. That's why we're bottom of the fucking scale. Because we think we just deserve it. We don't want to go fucking earn it. Okay?
I still approve of this message, by the way.
That's why you're getting your ass kicked every goddamn game. That's why you're going to get your ass kicked tonight, and you're going to get your goddamn ass kicked Saturday. Your goddamn drill. Don't just fucking stop. Like, what are we doing? We have no common sense. We're playing back so far that we can't even fucking do nothing. Jaden, you're playing all the way back here. Like, what the fuck? Extend it up. There's nothing up here.
Now he's just going over how to run the fucking play.
Yep.
I would say very similar at this part.
And then see the goddamn guy. Like, what are we doing? Like, we can't run an offensive set. Okay? Like, what? Our offense is about to be a ball screen for Ian every goddamn time. That's what it's about to be. Because we can't run a goddamn offense. Like, what? I don't understand it. I don't get it. What is it, 12 points, 14 points in a fucking half? In a fucking half. 14 fucking points. Like, goddamn. Quit being scared when you go in there and just launch it up. Fucking score the ball. Lay it up strong, and if they block it, they fucking block it. Who cares?
I agree, sir.
Yeah, I agree.
So here's the thing. The dude went ahead and apologized. This poor guy lost his job. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's just over there trying to coach up these kids. Shit, why'd it go away? Come on, fucking Twitter. Yeah, he apologized. The language is not acceptable. I allowed the competitive environment to get the best of me. I would have been like, look, could I have said it differently? Yeah. But I'm out here to build these kids into men.
Yeah.
And, you can't do that when you don't tell them they're being soft. Like, this is the problem. Yeah. It's these soft-ass people running schools. And that's why, dude, compared to what my coach said to me in high school.
Yeah, no shit.
When we did a good job and won the game, we get cursed out.
Yeah.
You know,
because
I remember like the reason I started training is the reason I really went all in when I was 13 is as a sophomore going into my junior year, Coach Carroll, Kansas guy, he moved to LA. He was coaching, and I was just fooling around the weight room, just going half-ass. Called me out in front of anybody, said, "Low bliner, you're sorry ass. If you don't lift, you're not going to play a fucking lick the rest of your high school career." So that was the day I decided to fucking train.
Yep.
That calling me out, embarrassing me in front of everybody, changed my life. It is probably the reason I am where I am at today. Because Coach Stephen Carroll, called me a lazy piece of shit.
You know, and you needed to hear that to be the successful person that you are. Like not every lesson needs to be, not every lesson can come from a position of you did everything perfect. You don't learn shit by that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, language is important. Like I send a message to most of my clients every week. Like what went well this week and what is an area for improvement. Right. And, you know, the wording is soft, but at the same time, like identify your issues. But if you continue to keep doing those issues, that conversation quickly goes to, well, we know this was not wise because we've proven it to ourselves, or historically this doesn't work. Why are we still fucking doing this? You know? And I just don't think people want to autocorrect. People just want to revel in being okay. And that sort of shit, like, so you want your kids to play a sport where they run top speed at each other and ram their heads into each other, and you're worried about the language being used by the coach.
Yep.
You're going to have to miss me with that. Like, I remember when I was in my first judo tournament, my dad was in the stands yelling, "Kick his fucking ass." Yes. I mean, like literally, like it, yes. Like in the stands. And you know what the kid's dad was saying on the other sideline? Fucking kick get him, fucking kick his ass. Like, you know, so it's like, it's just life, people. Life. If you think you can go through life without it being confrontational, I don't know what life you lead. Like you must be like one of the Musks or something like that. Like one of the children of one of these fucking super rich people. You know what I mean? Because to have no conflict in your life ever, like conflict builds character, you know? And
here's the last, here's the last thing I found from Coach Carroll. There he is, Coach Carroll. Yeah, I guess he's somewhere in Riverside, California now.
Nice.
This was 2019. It's the latest thing I could find. He's got to be old as shit. Coach Carroll used to call us slapdicks. He used to be like, "You fucking slapdicks. Low blinder, you fucking fat slapdick. Get your ass on the field." I'm like, that's funny. Fuck. He scared the shit out of me. But dude, he helped me become a man.
That's absolutely, and we need to bring back, like I have shirts printed up, traditional masculinity. We need to bring back traditional masculinity.
Slapdick.
Slapdick. We need to. We'll get new merch.
I'm gonna start calling people slapdicks on Twitter.
That's funny. But you know who else is kind of got the beard and everything like that rocking that?
JD
had a great JD Vance had a fucking ridiculously fabulous interview on Joe Rogan. First of all, Kamala, I bet you Kamala's camp is like, you know what? Maybe we should have gone to Rogan.
Dude, nah, she wouldn't have lasted because JD talked like a normal dude. Yep. My favorite line was like, because the mics went down, he goes, "Shit, I guess the Russians are watching this fucking show." Like, it was so fucking good. So here's him on Something to Assume. You know, dude, I still have like 20 minutes left. I listened to it during training today. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I listened to some of it last night. I'm like, and I have this thing called a job, so I can't just take 3 hours off and listen to an interview. This guy is so fucking good.
Yeah, he is.
I want to see this one again. I know I saw this one. This is so good.
Europe.
This is so good. The cord was just loose, by the way. Spoiler alert.
Too funny.
But JD, he's the kind of guy you'd have at a barbecue, and he's just fucking talking to everybody. Yep. Just fucking, everybody likes him. He's nice to everybody. He's playing with the kids. He's not overweight. We need to get him on some steroids. But other than that, like, this is a man, and he's talking about what he tries to eat healthy. He's all about RFK's thing, talking about big pharma needing to be corralled. It was such a good fucking episode.
So it just goes to prove, because here's the thing. There is probably 4 or 5 people in Trump's like super friends of freedom that I would vote for over Kamala Harris. Like, well, I would vote for, I'd vote for Tulsi. I'd vote for RFK. I'd vote for JD Vance. Of course I'd vote for Trump. I'd vote for Vivek. Like, I'd vote for Tucker Carlson before I'd vote for Kamala Harris, like, hands down too. Like, I would vote for probably everybody in the super friends of freedom before I'd vote left. And I am a 90s Democrat.
Same.
You know?
Same. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, we haven't changed.
No.
I'm a little more pro-life now than I was before. I'm a
little
more pro-death penalty for child pedophiles. But other than that, like, I'm still anti-war. Mm-hmm. I still don't like the Jews. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Just kidding. I'm Jewish. Just for you guys who don't know my humor and my background.
Yeah.
I'm Jewish, but I did write Mein Kampf.
Don't send the IDF. Don't send the IDF.
Oh, no. I have a lifetime pass. My mom was in the IDF.
Yeah, but don't.
Oh yeah, you're right, dude.
But I don't do. We are on the same show.
Mossad would fuck you up, bro.
Fuck me up.
Mossad does not fuck around, dude. Yeah. All the shit, dude. Mossad it's like our CIA if they weren't retarded, you know?
Yeah. And slightly more vicious. Yeah, really.
Dude, dude, the Mossad, my mom told me stories. Oh my word. They were so graphic. I don't even want to tell them. Like, it's
you can't. Like, some of the shit that they incentivized people to talk.
Mossad is, so there's a good book. It's somewhere back there. And it's about Israeli interrogation techniques. Mm-hmm. But so they tell you about the ones you can't use, but then they tell you about, it's an old Israeli interrogator. And the book, I'll get the name. I'll tweet it out sometime. And the book goes into the ones you can use, but it also gives you like shit you can't use. I was like, holy shit. But it made me better in business meetings. It's definitely a good book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people should read stuff like I'm rereading. This will be like the 3rd time, but I'm rereading The Art of War right now. You know, like I love it. You know,
and Mein Kampf. I'm rereading Mein Kampf for the 5th time.
You were saying it like, you know, you're the same person you were. You're just a little bit more pro death penalty towards pedos. Like, I would say the only thing that's changed about me is I become a little bit more of a like constitutional absolutist, just because I mean. I've always wanted small government, but I really want the fucking government to have almost no say in my goddamn life.
I want to ban marriage.
Ban marriage?
Yeah, marriage should not be. Why is the government involved in my relationship? Why are our taxes so complicated that we get a tax credit for being married and having kids? Shouldn't it just be like, hey, you made $100,000. We're going to take 10,000 of it, call it a day. Yeah. Cool. Instead, I have to hire somebody to guess what I owe them. And if they guess wrong, I get charged with penalties.
Yeah. Like, it's weird that, like, it really should not make much of a difference. Like, you know, being married or not, like, tax wise, if you ask me, it just really shouldn't. No difference. But at the same time, like, I still don't understand why, like, people need to get a license from the government to say you're allowed to get married. What? Fuck who? Show me in the Constitution where that says that. Like, that's my new phrase for 2025. Show me the Constitution where it says that.
It costs you like $75. Why am I paying you to exchange vows?
Oh, and then they have you registered, so it's a tax thing too. Like, it's like this overwhelming control of people. It's wild. It's wild.
That is unconstitutional.
Yeah. So what do you got going on the rest of the weekend, bro?
So tonight we got a good crosstown game. It's gonna be fantastic. Should be another blowout. Last week we played a crosstown rival, beat them 49-7, and I showed you some. Man, that was crazy, awesome. And Yeah, we have a playoff game for my 11-year-old's team. I give us about a 70% chance of winning based on our practice this week. And yeah, it's been a hell of a week. What about you?
Damn, I'm taking my wife out on a date tonight, and then tomorrow is some homesteading shit. We're gonna go to a farmer's market, and I'm gonna pull up a huge portion of the garden, and we're gonna do our fall. Like, we live where it's warm enough. We're gonna do some fall planting. We're gonna plant garlic and onions and stuff like that. I'm gonna catch. Tomorrow is our day where I'm gonna get to the gym, and we're just gonna like spend like an hour and a half, 2 hours at the gym. I normally don't do that, but one day a week just to like let it all be. Like we're gonna like just kind of get on the Stairmaster for about a half an hour, work out for about an hour, do another half an hour, maybe in the sauna or something like that.
Yeah.
And dude, and Sunday, I got to be real. Sunday, I'm planning on reading and writing all day. Like, I mean, I've got the writing bug right now, so I'm thinking about like Fat Sick Week Independent as a book, and
nice.
I'm putting it together. Yeah. So that's my weekend. Yeah, man.
Perfect. So we'll be back on Monday. Hopefully, as winners.
We'll be back Monday, and then Tuesday, Mark and I are not going to do the thing that everybody else is doing, where they stay live all throughout the course of the evening to not find out who's president, because it's not going to be just voting day. So we'll talk about like it the next day, and we'll probably do an evening rants that evening just to be like, hey, everybody buckle up. But
yeah,
you guys can still make your plans to watch other people.
I would recommend probably Tim. Watch Tim cast. Tim cast IRL. Yeah. Tim's always good with those. Yeah, I'll be watching Tim. So we would like you to take your views from here and go to Tim or Luke. Absolutely. Luke will be live too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. I hope you have a great weekend.
The homies. All right, dude. You too, man. We'll see everybody on Monday.
And I'll text you here in a little bit. Later on, man.
Yes, sir. Later, dude. Bye. The Outright Bar is back in stock. So here's what we did. As you know, the bar is the best when it's the freshest. So what we did, we ran out of all inventory, and we are bringing them back. 3 to 4 bar flavors at a time, week after week after week after week. If you go to the Outright Bar page on tigerfitness.com, it has the dates listed to when your favorite Outright Bar is back in stock. So go to tigerfitness.com now and stock up on your favorite Outright Bar.